friends, today we are pouring a navy and olive 3D bloom. This was actually inspired by a gal that is part of a Facebook group that I'm involved with. Her name is Nicole Muller. I'm not quite sure how you say that, so hopefully I said it correctly, but I just wanted to let her know that I'm trying to pour just as she did. She actually told me that she used a pipette, so this will be the first piece I'm using a pipette on. I have not used a pipette for 3D blooms before, which I actually thought I wasn't going to like, but I did. It was good. I felt like I had pretty good control over the amount of ink that was coming out. It's a little bit more tricky than, say, a piping bag. I feel like I'm able to have more control on the piping bag, but the pipette wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The mold that I'm using is Pouring Your Heart Out's large coaster mold. This is a 4x4 mold, and it holds approximately 600 grams of resin. It's about 150 gram per coaster. I'm only pouring 2, as this is an experiment. I've played with this all this week, and actually towards the end I'll show you guys my first results versus this one. I'm using Octopus fluids. This is their alcohol ink. The first color I dropped was olive. This one is navy blue, and I'm actually adding more dots than I normally would, but I want to make sure some of the color goes to the outside edge. That's why I'm adding probably more than I normally would do, just because resin, when it cures, as we know, it goes from the outside in, and as it goes in, all that alcohol ink obviously is going to go with it. So I'm trying to add some to make sure that I have some on the outer edge. And the resin I'm using today, I'm using Fiberglass coatings. It's the SuperClear resin. And I did wait until I got a read of 35 Celsius on this. Usually for my blooms, I wait until it's anywhere in between 35 and 40 Celsius, just so the resin heats up a little bit. I feel when you do that, actually you get better blooms than if you were to pour it right away. Also, if you let your resin sit, it sort of lets the air bubbles come to the top, so you can pop those out without using a heat source, either through a heat gun or a torch. And there I'm mixing up my white, and I bought the Octopus fluids. They have opaque alcohol inks, and for this one I used vanilla, and that's the new component on my blooms I'm not used to working with, because usually alcohol inks are transparent, but Octopus fluids has this opaque one, and that's the one that Nicole actually used. And I really like the effect that it had on her bloom, so I'm trying to get something similar. And the first time I did this, I used the opaque alcohol ink, and I just dropped it as I would drop like the navy blue or the olive ones, but it didn't work out. It felt like it left a really filmy like yellow color on top. It just didn't translate very well. So that's why this time I added it into my white paste, and I used Bloom from Pouring Your Heart Out for my white. I didn't use epoxy paste, I used Bloom, and it worked pretty well. And when I saw the end result on this, I probably could have added a little bit more of the yellow vanilla, just to make it more yellow than white, because I feel like the blooms kind of turned more white than what I wanted, but it wasn't too bad, but I wanted more yellow in there. And I'm just drying the petals here as you would, with pen and paper or pencil and paper, just sort of rounded arches and little dashes around. popping some bubbles. I'm using my heat gun there to kind of warm it up, get them out. And this one I sped up the second one just so you guys can see how I did both sides. But same thing, just drawing a flower. Pretty simple flower. And I'm keeping my lines kind of close together, which you'll see had a pretty neat effect on the final result. Is it made a really nice layering. A nice layering of the petals. So this is the back side later towards the end of the evening, and I did swirl the center, probably waited 20 minutes before I did the swirl. And you can kind of see in here how the white expanded, how it feathered. Okay, I don't know if anybody can see me. I put the backing on this with gray. And actually, I'll show these to you. I've been trying to replicate a design I saw. These are getting stuck together, but I have not been able to. I was able to get like these, which are okay, like that. But I have these new Octopus fluids, these opaque alcohol inks that I've been trying to use, and I haven't used them before, but the thing is here's one, I mean I got the yellow in this, that they're pigmented because I want my petals to be tinted that yellow, but I'm trying to tweak the recipe, I guess, to see how I can get it to work. So this one, I got the yellow color, but I don't really like how that bloom turned out. These ones turned out good. It's just my petals were really white. I completely lost the yellow. And this is actually the first batch I did where I used the alcohol ink. I just dropped it in, but I did not get the effect actually that I wanted. So just kind of been playing with these this week. Just so everybody knows, not everything comes out perfect. Clearly I have to play around and obviously do some tweaking too. So I don't know, it's all about the process, trying to get what you want out of it. So and I haven't unmolded these yet, so I'm just curious to see, because I tried last night to actually use a pipette instead of a piping bag, and then I mixed this Octopus fluids, the yellow, in with a little bit of bloom paste. So let's see, I guess, cross your fingers. Let's see if it worked. And these I backed with a 4-hour fast cure from Let's Resin, so I still think they're dry, but still a little bit soft. So let's see. Well, okay, that's not that bad. My petals are a little bit more wider than I wanted, but I mean, it still, you know, came out pretty, I think. And just look at that one. The swirl on that one actually is really nice. Oh, and see, I'm messing with the edges. This is what I was afraid of. I'm always too anxious to, like, not anxious, but impatient. So I want my stuff to come out. Let's see how this one did. This is I only poured 2 last night, so. Okay, so they're very similar. So I actually got a pretty similar result. Let me flip that over on both of those.
I mean, I did get a little bit of the yellow, but I'm thinking that's probably more of the olive that I dropped in there. But the petals, honestly, I kind of like the petals. I think it looks pretty cool. So, I don't know. I'll probably try it again. What do you think? Good or bad? Hopefully good, maybe. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.